Gdje si pošao? Alo?
I'm hoping to ask you some questions.
Misliš da možda pobegneš, pa nećeš, sad ću ti smaram, brate.
Who is the rightful owner of this piece of chain?
I confess I haven't the foggiest idea.
Šta mu je sa frizurom? Zalizao se nešto.
What did you get in return for rescinding that Walter Jones be put under psychiatric care?
I suppose that Hubert de Noland told you that I was behind this initiative of putting him under psychiatric care. And yes, I acknowledge that without any shame. The shares of the Jones Company had been dramatically down for a while, which was not surprising in any case. Walter Jones had become a paranoid and dangerous old man.
Bla, bla, bla. Znači, on je hteo da stavi... Bio je jedan od onih koji je hteo da stavi dedu u ludaru.
If the heirs had thought of inheriting, it seems they're off to a rather rocky start. What do you think?
Old man Jones manipulated us all. I truly regret not having taken the procedure of putting him under psychiatric care to its conclusion. It is now clear that he had lost his mind, and that he was getting ready to disinherit all his grandchildren.
Dobro. On mi sad opet govori da debeli nije hteo da nasledstvo nikakvo svojim unucima.
With regard to Walter Jones, everyone plays the victim. But some people didn't refrain from trying to make him fall from his perch.
Listen, Inspector. It was publicly known that Walter Jones was no longer the same man after he had his accident. The procedure that we initiated to have him put under psychiatric care was perfectly logical.
Opet ovo za ludaru. To mislim da nije ni bitno više.
The autopsy is categorical. Walter Jones died from a bullet wound in his back, and not as a result of his fall from the Tortoise Belvedere. With all the doubts stemming from the circumstances, Baina has nothing to do with the death. Nevertheless, I would love to have your point of view on this.
Killed by bullets? That's really very disturbing, Inspector. I don't know who could have an interest in killing my wife's grandfather. I'm having a hard time believing that one of the heirs of Mr. Jones could be mixed up with this business. Really. He was, after all, their grandfather. The guilty party is without doubt a native of the island. These people are still roughnecks.
Jeste to što kaže, unuci, niko od unuka nema motiv zapravo, mislim mrze ga, ali time što ga ubijaju neće ništa dobiti. Zato što njima neće ostaviti nikakvo nasledstvo, tako da time što su ga ubili zapravo ništa nisu postigli. Tako da, jest, to je zapravo dobro što je rekao.
What were you doing at the hour of the crime, around 11 p.m.?
I spent the evening with everyone else at the restaurant between 9:45 p.m. and 11:30 p.m., Inspector. After Mr. Jones left at around 10 p.m., I started watching television with my spouse. The programs were not very interesting, and when my brother-in-law Billy suggested a hand of poker, I was more than willing. Sonia and Clara didn't want to play, so we started a game with just the three of us, Billy, Christina, and me. We talked about Walter Jones's effort that...
Dobro, on mi sad pripričao sve, okay.
What did Walter Jones tell you regarding his estate?
I'm scarcely under any illusions, Inspector. I don't think that my...
Sorry, but I understand nothing about architecture. I would like to have some things in this sketchbook explained.
I am a man of letters, Inspector. I'm not very practical.
Dobro, ništa.
What was your relationship with Walter Jones?
I certainly won't try to play any games with you, Inspector. And I won't surprise you if I tell you that I didn't have much affection for this man. He was the grandfather of my wife, full stop. That's...
Dobro, ništa specijalno.
I'm surprised that Colio, even if he was angry at Jones, was not more grateful for his generosity.
I don't know anything...
Odlično, nemoj, molim te.
What do these gifts from Jones hide? Why did he want to assure the future of Colio and his daughter?
I was
Odlično.
I'm told that an accident left Baina mute. What is that about?
I don't know anything. My wife spoke to me about it.
Možda je bio bug, ne znam, zato što su mi nestala sada dva.
If Noland is to be believed, the young Baina literally cast a spell on Walter Jones. What do you know about this?
How would I know that?
Okay, on nema pojma ništa.
Do you know if Walter Jones was wearing something around his neck on the night of his death?
Honestly, I don't.
Did you hear a gunshot around 11 p.m.?
No, that evening one could only hear thunderclaps, Inspector. It would have been impossible to...
Okej. Znači, koliko sam shvatio, muževi i žene od ovih unuka i unuka dedinih, nisu ništa. Znači, ova ovde, ovaj ovde i ova ovde. Oni nemaju nikakve veze s tim. Ova ovde je nevina, najverovatnije i ovaj ovde, što mi ostavlja samo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Njih 5.
So, tell me a little about Billy.
I'm afraid my brother-in-law has put himself in a tough spot, Inspector. He is compromised...
Dobro, on je neodgovoran. Billy je neodgovoran.
What do you think of Christina?
Christina? A Russian model lost here in Segura. Quite a picture, isn't it? I don't really...
Ne znam.
I would love it if you could tell me a little about Sonia.
I'm badly placed to answer you with any objectivity, Inspector. Sonia is my wife.
Dobro,
what do you think of Colio?
I didn't have the chance to spend...
Ne znam ga.
What do you know about Lorenzo Battaglieri?
Delicate question, Inspector. I take Lorenzo to be a whimsical creature, somewhat unreliable, and is commonly considered to be an incompetent to boot.
Dobro, i on je malo nesposoban.
What do you think of Baina?
Baina? The untamed young girl? What can I say? I have the impression that maybe she isn't entirely a stranger.
Dobro, on sumnja na nju, ali mislim da ne zna šta priča.
What do you think of the attorney, Hubert de Noland?
I cannot comment on Mr. de Noland for the simple reason...
O, ne zna ga. Dobro.
What can you tell me about Marco?
I hardly know my brother-in-law, Inspector, but what I do know of him is very positive.
Pozitivno.
What can you tell me about Clara?
I appreciate Billy's wife. She is charming, even if her conversations are rather limited, one has to admit.
I see.
Ok, znači on nije toliko uključen, nema pojma što se dešava. Sad, kako bih ja mogao da dođem do advokata, on je negde ovde. Heliport Lounges, da, on je negde ovde. Ajde, probat ćemo ovde dole. Nije dole, onda je gore. Ja bih rekao sa ove strane ovde. S desne strane. Ovde. Ajmo brže to malo. Ovamo negde. Nije, onda je s druge strane. A mora da je ovde, piše da je ovde. Aha. Evo ga, sakrio si.
I must take your fingerprints for the investigation.
Daj mi to.
But of course, do your job, Inspector.
Nemoj ti meni da govoriš da radim svoj posao. Ti si taj koji je pobegao. I nije mi dao da mu uzmem otiske prsti. Sad će opet da beži.
A question is buzzing in my head.
Buzz.
I heard that there's a chapel somewhere. Do you know where it is?
I am indeed aware of the existence of this chapel, but I've never set foot in it. It was...
No, nema pojma.
What did Walter Jones tell you regarding his estate?
Walter Jones led me to believe that he wanted to make up with his grandchildren. He loved them despite all their deceptions. And he
Debeli je teo da se izvini svojim unucima.
Noland, I know now that you were doing some smooth talking by letting me believe that you knew nothing about Walter Jones' plans for his estate. I don't like your making fun of me, Noland.
I acknowledge that I didn't tell you everything that I knew about Walter's feelings for his grandchildren, or for his plans for his estate. But you should know that I never advised Walter to go in this direction. I have a certain sense of family, Inspector. This letter dates back a while. Walter was still confiding in me at that time.
Okay.
Sonia told me that you had advised her to put Walter Jones under psychiatric care?
I acknowledge this without shame, Inspector. I supported the steps taken by Walter's grandchildren in the interests of the entire Jones family. I didn't understand Walter's unjustified distrust of his grandchildren, and I feared that he was beginning to be scared. But I insist on the fact that I'm not the one who initiated the...
Da, znači on je bio isto za to da deda bude u ludari, ali nije on pokrenuo tu, nego Martin, kaže da je Martin pokrenuo to, da stave dedu u ludaru.
According to what Sonia Jones told me, she surprised you just when you were opening the safe with Walter Jones' key. The wise thing for you to do is to tell me everything right now.
Huh! Sonia Jones is an unscrupulous young woman with a lot of nerve. It's she who's the thief. It's she who took possession of the papers that I found in the safe. For I recognize that I took the documents that were in the safe, and I'm even proud of it. I thereby obeyed the orders of Walter Jones. I had to make myself familiar with his testamentary dispositions to fulfill his last wishes. And between us, Inspector, I was more than surprised that Walter Jones had finally decided to disinherit his whole family. Yes, very surprised.
Mr. Noland, I'm starting to ask myself if, in addition to robbing corpses, you're not also guilty of your boss's murder.
I am an attorney, Inspector Norm. I know the law at least as well as you do, and I know perfectly well that you cannot accuse me of murder on the basis of a simple theft. A theft as perfectly justified as there ever was. Because after the violent death of my boss, I absolutely had to put the documents from his safe in a secure place.
Morao je iz sefa na bezbedno mesto, a šta je bezbednije od sefa? To mi mislim, možda mogu je sef da pomeri na bezbedno mesto.
I would like to know more about Martin.
Martin Abruzzi is the kind of publisher they don't make anymore, Inspector. I love his editorial choices, and I'm a personal fan of the works he publishes.
Dobro.
What can you tell me about Clara?
I hold Claire in great esteem, Inspector.
Ok, pozitivno za oboje. Pozitivne izjave za ovo dvoje na kraju. Ali, ok, sad imam njegove otiske prstiju. Sada bih hteo da uporedim ovo. To je najnovije, tako. Skroz na vrhu, ne. Evo ga. Ne znam šta treba da uporedim sa ovim. Nešto moram još da nađem. Sad ću da probam da se popnem na 20. sprat. Da vidim da li mogu da otvorim opet. Ja mislim da je na 20. spratu soba od ovog dede, debelog. Ako ne mogu, onda ću da se popnem gore kod Lorenza, da probam još jednom.
I need a key to open that door. My key card doesn't give me access to this door.
To, sad da kažem Lorenzu, daj mi bre ključ koji je ključava, to nema smaraš. Ja sam rekao daj mi ključ, ti mi nisi dao ključ.
You see this rogatory commission? Well, it gives me the right to rummage through all the nooks and corners of this tower, including your personal properties and items, take note.
Odlično.
The autopsy is categorical. Walter Jones died from a bullet wound in his back, and not as a result of his fall from the Tortoise Belvedere. With all the doubts stemming from the circumstances, Baina has nothing to do with the death. Nevertheless, I would love to have your point of view on this.
Oh, that's great news. Baina's cleared of all suspicion. It's fully to your credit that you recognized your mistake, Norm. I imagine that you weren't at all aware of the arm that was used in the crime, Inspector.
Šta, molim, kakva je to reakcija? Kaže, dedu su upucali u leđa. Pa to je sjajno, pa to znači da ga ova mala nije ubila, a vi nemate pojma, vi ste pogrešili u početku. okej, totalno mi nejasno ovo bilo, ali ajde.
What were you doing at the hour of the crime, around 11 p.m.?
But I already told you, Norm. I hated Mr. Jones for what he did to Baina. But despite everything, I'm sorry for the death of the old man, believe me. I remember being surprised by Baina's violence. Even if I could understand that she was taking revenge for Jones's beastly brutality. After his fall, I came out of my hiding place to reassure Baina. I promised her that I would protect her. I was ready to give evidence that the old satyr had assaulted her again, but Baina pushed me away and fled to take refuge in her father's cabin. At that moment, I confess, I was convinced that she'd intentionally pushed him, that she'd ruminated over taking revenge against Jones, and that if she'd agreed to accompany her torturer on his stroll, it wasn't totally innocent. In fact, I thought maybe she was waiting for a chance to revenge herself. And now, Inspector, you're telling me that Baina is innocent. Oh, now I am sure that she must detest me for having thought her guilty.
Ja sam zaboravio da je on bio tamo dole. Znači, on nije mogao da bude taj koji je upucao, jer ja mislim da je pucanj tamo iz kancelarije od ovog advokata. Što daje jedan... on nije više osumnjičen, barem u mojim očima.
Do you know where it is?
Of course I know. I built it. You could find it in Walter Jones's bedroom. Unfortunately, he told others the way to get in, but not me. If you want to go there, I can't help you.
What did Walter Jones tell you regarding his estate?
I wasn't sleeping with Walter Jones, and I was no longer his confidant. So go look for your clues in the minds of the heirs, Norm. You'll find something to feed your curiosity.
Some people here say that you are totally incompetent.
The tower was never completed, so obviously nothing works as it should.
I would like to know more about Martin.
Martin Abruzzi is haughty and disdainful, Inspector. He pretends to be a courteous and
Dobro, on ne voli Martina.
What can you tell me about Clara?
Clara is a sincere and courageous woman, Inspector. And moreover...
Pozitivno.
Do you know if Walter Jones was wearing something around his neck on the night of his death?
I remember very well that Mr. Jones always wore his chain around his neck. Why would he have taken it off? It had the key to his room and to his safe hung from it.
To je ono što sam hteo.
Are there firearms somewhere in this tower?
Mr. Jones owned a nice collection of guns and rifles in his office, and one can say that he was, in this domain, an enlightened amateur.
Did you hear a gunshot around 11 p.m.?
The rain was falling, the wind was whistling, lightning was illuminating the sky.
Sad sam siguran da je lanac what was the crime weapon? Ne to. Da, to mi kaži. Barem to mora biti. A ostatak ću da iz sobe njegove, mada opet vrati mi na ovo pitanje, to mi se više odgovara. Daj da ti ja drndam po stvarima. Ovdje nema ništa. Sad kad sam mu rekao da imam kompletnu kontrolu, da mora da mi prepusti sve, onda da mu uzmem sve što ima da mi ponudi. Dobro, ovdje nema ništa.
I have to ask Lorenzo what this machine is used for.
Dobro, ovo mašina je korišćena za nešto. Okej, dobro, to je to. I ne mogu da gledam. Okej. Jasno mi je.